Hey guys, and welcome to the beautiful madness that is Total War Warhammer. On the left hand side we have Logic representing the mighty Dark Elves up against Raging Sausage and the Warriors of Chaos. Quite a beautiful name there. Now Logic indeed is a YouTuber who does Total War Warhammer content, so definitely go check him out. I'll try to remember to post a link down below in the comments. But let's see what he has in store for us. It looks like we have a bucket ton of Scourgerunner Chariots. 4 units, in fact, to be very good. They're very commonly picked in this matchup as a whole to counter some of the large entities that Chaos can bring against them. And once they've run out of ammunition, just use them like melee chariots and run through the enemy. Front line is going to be cheap and very uncheerful in the form of a load of bleak swords and a couple of dread spears as well to guard the flanks and the rear, as we have triple dark shards in the central core. Quite a cool pick here. Normally you see the dark rider with repeated crossbows, but the dark shards can certainly do some good work as well. We have dark riders waiting in the wings just to try to cover those flanks, and up in the skies, of course, we have Morathi, the most picked Dark Elf Lord by an absolute mile. She's coming in with the Wand, Soul Stealer, Heart Render and the Dark Sword, as well as Enchanting Beauty, so a cool little toolkit for her today. What is she going to be up against though? It is a horde of Chaos who are bomb rushing towards them. This is the ultimate rush build. We have some Chaos Chariots. Don't get to see these guys often, so kind of cool to see them in action today. We have one either side. The front line is just a load of Chaos Marauders, Viking lunatics who are brought to the side of Chaos through the promise of power and riches. And then we have a load of Chaos Spawn just behind, including the Regiment of Renown version, backed up by a bucket ton of Chaos Warriors. Basically a big old iron hammer that's going to bonk you in the face and you have to try to survive. Leading the forces here, we have the Everwatcher himself coming in with a pretty interesting tool set with the standard Searing Doom and Plague of Rust, but likewise we also have the Golden Hounds, which can be quite powerful. He's coming with a Scroll of Power, Arcane Conduit, and Stand or Die. So without further ado, let's get this battle underway. It looks like instantly the fight of the Chariots is on, and this is really going to quite heavily favour, of course, the Scourgerunner Chariots, because the Chaos ones simply have no opportunity to actually catch up and defeat the more slick Chariots, which are certainly more modern than the old school Chaos ones. You're an old man now, Chaos Chariots, you can't mess with the Dark Elves. Looks like this unit did decide to try to push forward and ramrod into the Bleak Swords, but with the Dark Shard support, Scourgerunner Chariots should have no problem whatsoever breaking this unit and forcing it off, but it does manage to ramrod all the way into the Dark Shards, but unfortunately there it is stopped and broken. The one on the left hand side didn't fare much better, with those Scourgerunners doing some deadly accurate shots of their elvish archery skills onto the Chaos Chariots, and yeah, bye-bye 2 Chariots straight out of the gate. That's one of the really cool things about Scourgerunner Chariots is, yeah, you can push forward and use them aggressively, but then simply fall back behind your own lines, and you can use them in a static way as well. They are hunting down the Everwatcher at the moment, so Scourgerunner Chariots are going duck hunting. Unfortunately though, the Everwatcher does have a ridiculous amount of missile resistance, 50%, which is pretty damn wild. Bleak Swords roar a war cry and charge towards the Chaos Marauders. I don't think that's going to go too well for you lads though. Chaos Marauders are far better melee combatants, and Chaos Spawn are starting to saturate on top of them. The Chaos Warrior line is a bit slow off the draw. Good play here with the Dark Riders, I think. Oh no, they're just hiding in the wings. They've actually been spotted by the Chaos Chariot. I thought Logic was chasing them off there. Searing Doom comes down onto the Dark Shards, catching them quite nicely, and it looks like the Golden Hounds are being born into the world to wreak havoc amongst the Dark Elf lines, but unfortunately, as is the way of many Vortex spells, it went in the wrong direction and unfortunately didn't catch too much. Good micro there by Logic to pull back the Dark Shards and push forward the spears into those Chaos Spawn. Morathi is going to spend the majority of her time hunting down the Everwatcher. This is a really good target for her, and one of the main reasons I think Morathi is so common in this matchup. We're going to get another fat Soul Stealer go down, catching the Chaos Marauders, the Chaos Spawn, and even this other unit of Chaos Warriors on the approach, as the Everwatcher takes a wand to the face. Some of the Scourgerunner Chariots have delved into combat briefly, but are going to very quickly flee back away from the roaring tide of the Everwatcher, Chaos Spawn, and filthy Chaos Warriors, who are quite healthy now, pushing in and starting to override the Dread Spears. They're really overrunning them quite badly. Really lovely Searing Doom comes down by the Chaos player, catching both of these Dread Spears, one of which is the Hellebroni, but the Scourgerunner Chariots are continuously pouring on the fire. You may have 50% missile resistance, but if we shoot you enough times, eventually you will die. At least that's what the Scourgerunners are hoping. Chaos Spawn have managed to force their way through now, which I really like this. Not letting all 3 units get caught up on the Dread Spears, instead disengaging Chaos Warriors and Chaos Spawn to feast upon the soul of the Dark Shards. Unfortunately for them, though, the Scourgerunner Chariots still have decent amount of ammunition left, and they're pouring on thick onto these Chaos Spawn, who are not having a good day. Oh my god, look at that guy's dance moves. He was really angry at the air, trying to drag down these Bleak Swords, who are currently being exploded in puffs of blood, but at least they're holding the line long enough to buy time for the Scourgerunner Chariots. As you can see, some of them are being moved into combat to pin back the enemy. Good cycle charge in here, coming in by the Dark Elf player. Dark Riders on the edge were chasing off some units. Looks like they are rallying and trying to return. Marathi has to be a little bit careful. She does debuff all her enemies around her, but at the end of the day, she only has a pretty pitiful amount of armor and can be quite squishy. But a lovely Soul Stealer is going to come in, catching the Weird Spawn, catching the Chaos Marauders, and that's going to be topping up Marathi quite nicely. Even the Everwatcher there as well. It looks like he's taking a tiny wee bit of damage. Dread Spears have been forced off now. Chaos Warriors doing a really good job. We can see in the distance Dark Riders are hunting down at the last of these Chaos Marauders and can probably pop onto the Chaos Chariot as well to finish them off for good. We're going to see yet another wand come down on the Everwatcher, really trying to gun for him. Logic has been focusing down the Everwatcher so much all game. Is it going to pay for itself though? Because there is so much infantry left around for the Warriors of Chaos, and they are overrunning the Dread Spears at the moment. And it looks like the Dark Shards may have fired their last shots as they're being hounded towards the board's edge. But there's still a load of Chariots, and that means cycle charging can be done into the late game. And as we've seen already, Logic's got some really solid micro, doing some Chariots charging throughout the battle, and he's really running out of ammunition at this point. Balance power is slightly in favour of the Dark Elves, but really not by too much whatsoever. Everwatcher is down to 520 HP, but has been rather wisely vibing next to these Chaos Spawn, as well as the Chaos Warriors, to try to dissuade Marathi from diving in and dishing out the damage and the killing blow. We do have some Dread Spears and Dark Riders returning to the field, and it looks like some of the Scourgerunner Chariots are unfortunately getting caught up here, but not before they manage to break off those Chaos Warriors, who are now running for the edge of the board. There's a decent amount of Chaos Spawn left though, and a lot of Chaos Warriors. 73 Chaos Warriors in that unit, and the Dread Spears do go forth to meet their doom. I think Marathi is eventually going to have to come in for a snipe effect. Luckily the Everwatcher does miscast there, and he is now down to just 520 HP. One good halberd hit from Marathi could seal the deal, but it's risky diving in amongst all of those armoured foes. But she's eyeing it up, and I think she may swoop. No, she chickens out, and instead it's like, you know what? I'm going to try and save my Dark Shards and my Scourgerunner Chariots. They've done a good job all day so far, so I would like to repay the favour. And it looks like these Chaos Marauders are unfortunately going to be getting jumped by the wrath of Marathi. The Scourgerunner Chariots are doing a decent job actually. They finish off all of these Chaos Warriors and Marauders. This other unit is dishing out some hurt, but the cycle charge is really affecting them quite badly. And now we have the Dark Shards back online. He did not give up hope on these guys. I thought they were goners, but they're now firing shots back in, piercing the thick armour there of the Chaos Warriors. And Marathi seems to be having quite a fun time with those Marauders, particularly with Scourgerunner Chariot support. They're going to dive forward and just send the Marauders flying. That is not a good way for a Viking to go out. We're going to get another lovely Searing Doom come down on the Dark Shards, who are unleashing one last salvo at the Everwatcher, trying to finish him off. They get him down to 160 HP, but the Dark Shards break, and there is a tide of rotting Chaos Spawn flesh and stinky barbarians hunting down the Dark Riders, who are going to have to flee for their lives. And a lovely Soul Stealer is going to come down and catch basically all of the Chaos Army, including the Everwatcher, and he may well go down here. He has really nice magic resistance, but he is so low HP now, and the Dark Shard's last second sacrifice was not in vain, as the glorious mystical duck does fall. It's kind of sad to see one of my kind go down, but you gotta root for the boy. Logic, of course, being a clan mate, and in fact, my housemate. Fun fact of the day. Scourgerunner Chariots are doing a decent job here, running over the Chaos Warriors as well as the Chaos Marauders here, doing a pretty solid job. And luckily, because these Dark Shards are alive and active still, there's still 30 models firing in. That's a lot of damage and hurt they're applying to the Chaos Warriors, who still somehow have 60 models, despite the fact their HP is getting relatively low. And the Chaos Spawn down to just the one guy left, and it looks like that is what the Dark Shards are going after, trying to bring low the foul beast. Scourgerunner Chariots just clearing up Chaos Marauders on the flanks, which is some good late game management here. Dark Riders are looking a little bit beleaguered, and lo and behold, we have a Chaos Chariot. A lone Chariot is on its way back to the battlefield. I don't think it's going to make it. It is really low leadership. If anything touches it, it's just going to crumble to dust. Dark Riders can be used to shatter off Chaos Marauders. Certainly not a bad idea, because there's still a solid amount of infantry left on the field. 56 Chaos Warriors, 55 and 74 is pretty damn scary, but without their leader, they are breakable. Even if we can't kill them all, we just have to break them. Morathi is going to be falling back doing some cycle charging. Looks like there's just 2 Chaos Spawn, or 3 Chaos Spawn, left on the field. And the Scourgerunner Chariots are getting about their butcher's work, hunting down the weaker of the units as the Dark Shards rally back in once more. The leadership of the Dark Elves has really helped them quite a bit today. Going to be applying some pressure to the Chaos Warriors. Any damage at the moment is good damage for the Dark Elves because balance power is in their favour, but despite this, they're really lacking much punch. Scourgerunner Chariots just finishing off some of the Chaos Marauders in the distance. Looks like, unfortunately, these Dark Shards did break. However, the second unit is firing and moving up. I wonder what they're going to be going after. It looks like the double Chaos Spawn. One of them does crumple to the ground, and the second one still somehow is alive, despite only having 10 armor, survives that first volley, and we only have 2 Chaos Spawn left. Dark Riders, looks like they are shattered and done for in the distance. The other unit, though, has managed to shatter the Chaos Marauders in revenge, and it looks like that Chariot has fled once more. Scourgerunner Chariots are surrounding the last of the Chaos Spawn, looking to drag them down, which isn't the worst idea. These guys are pretty low HP at the moment, and the Dark Shards are raining shots down on the Chaos Warriors, who, even with 100 armor and silver shields, will be taking a bit of a punishment. No one likes a crossbow to the face. And it looks like Morathi is quite comfortably feasted upon one of the weaker Chaos Warrior units, breaking them down. Now, one of the main reasons here Logic is trying to drag out this game, he does not want to commit to a final confrontation until he has a Soul Sealer popped. At that moment, I guarantee he's going to be looking to draw in the Chaos Forces so he can pop that nasty spell once more. But at the moment, stretching the game is really helping him out quite a bit. This is some good late game management. Dark Shards are going to be falling back, and Logic is a relatively experienced multiplayer player now, but not super much in the competitive scene with tournaments. And one thing I've talked to him about before is late game management, and this is a really good joy to watch here, because you can see he is wrapping this game up really nicely right now. And I don't know if the Chaos player can drag it back. I mean, 74 Chaos Warriors is a lot of Warriors, though, and that can be really quite tough. Dark Shards unleashing salvo after salvo into the Chaos Warriors, who have been cycle charged to death right now by the Scourgerunner Chariots, who have quite comfortably been the MVPs of the battle, and they should be able to do enough here to break these Warriors and save their Dark Shard allies. They've had a nice little combo so far, although it looks like the Scourgerunner Chariot actually down just to one model as one of them explodes there, but very fortunately the Chaos Warriors are already breaking, and that Scourgerunner Chariot can escort them off the field of battle. Somehow, these Chaos Spawn are still alive. I have absolutely no idea how they've survived this long. It looks like Dark Riders might be coming over to finish off and seal the deal. Morathi is 103 kills. Not bad whatsoever. And it looks like she has managed to slaughter those Chaos Warriors. And it's just the one big slab of a roadblock in the way, stopping the Dark Elves getting victory. And that is the 74 Chaos Warriors. Morathi is going to dart down there, however. Chaos Spawn, one has fallen, but the other one is still alive. In fact, breaks the Dark Shards here. In comes the Scourgerunners to finish it off, however. And Morathi is surrounded, and she is relatively squishy, as we've spoken about before. So it looks like she is indeed going to try and fall back. And we have Dark Shards laying down their crossbows and picking up their swords to try to save Morathi, who does manage to fall back there. Although cycle charging her in would be quite nice because of the debuff effects she would be applying to the Chaos Warriors. Scourgerunner Chariots, let's take in note of what's alive. We have 3 here, and then we have 1 there, and is that it? Oh my god, this game is so tight still, actually. Can these Chaos Warriors hold on? It is quite possible, as they start to cut down the Dark Shards. I thought this game was over, but somehow they still hold on, but there is a Soul Sealer in the back pocket, catches both units. That's going to finish off this unit of Chaos Warriors. Now, if the Scourgerunner Chariots charge in with Morathi, whilst these guys are also sustaining the magical damage, I think they may break, and they do indeed go down. It's such a shame there, because those Chaos Warriors could have really given a bit of a run for the money, I think, the Dark Elves here. But they do shatter. Army Losses kicks in, and we have 1 beloved spawn left. Which unit's going to kill him? Take your bets now. I think the Scourgerunner Chariots are probably going to get there first, driving their way through the Chaos Warriors. And Morathi is also going to be swooping in for the last cinematic shot. And he goes out with a spin, a bit of an anime move by him. but it is unfortunately going to be his last action today, and it is a Pyrrhic victory, a very, very Pyrrhic victory for the Dark Elves. Not much left whatsoever on the battlefield, but well played to Raging Sausage. Coming in with a super fun rush build, which is certainly unexpected. I think the main way Chaos players tend to do this one is those Hell Cannon shots in the back, launching shot after shot into the enemy. And well played to Logic as well. Really good Dark Elf play. I know he's a Dowie main, so going out of his comfort zone for a really good, fun scrap. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. I certainly did. That was absolute madness. Those Scourgerunner Chariots, man. Them and you shocked you. As a Lizardman player, I have such bad memories of when I first started playing the game. Those two units were a big pain in my butt. Marathi, she's always a pain in the butt, and she performed really well today, getting 123 kills, over 14k damage dealt, and over 2,000 damage value. We'll hop into the damage dealt and damage value of all of the units in just a second, but before we get there, hope you guys did enjoy this one. It was a super fun one to cast, and if you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up underneath the video. Subscribe as well for more glorious Total War Warhammer content. We're not slowing down anytime soon. And leave a comment down below. What did you think of the battle? What did you enjoy the most? What do you think of Scourgerunner Chariots? And all that good stuff. Or just yell quack at me. I really do enjoy reading all of the comments. They do inspire me to keep going and making this content. There are links down below in the description if you'd like to support me via Patreon, or join my Discord where you can submit replays to me, just like Logic did here today. And also you can get involved in tournaments, King of the Hills, and all these cool events that I do indeed host. But back to the battle. Marathi, she is an absolute raid boss. She is so powerful. There's like 1 or 2 matchups where you would take Malekith most likely, but if you're going competitive, Marathi is an absolute staple. Bleak Swords across the board didn't fare too well. Neither did the unfortunate Dread Spears here, but they did their job, which is to hold back the enemy and allow the Chariots and the ranged units in Marathi to actually win the day. Speaking of ranged units, the Dark Shards were actually really well protected. With such a rush build, I thought they were going to struggle, but 650 damage value, 485 and 411 isn't terrible. Last unit's not doing amazing, but they really helped soften up the enemy, allowing the Scourgerunner Chariots to take down the enemy. Dark Rise did a solid job as well, just harass enemy and chasing off troops, so it really was a tale of the Chariots. 1,400 damage value, 1,300, 1,300, and again 1,300. Good use as well to break up the enemy infantry when they're a little bit isolated in the later stages of the game, and turning these skirmish chariots into a hybrid kind of melee one as well at the end. Very impressed. As for Raging Sausage, I do of course love it when the Everwatcher is brought, my great, beautiful, magical ducky. Unfortunately, he was hunted to extinction today. 96 kills isn't too shabby, but a rather impressive 1,000 damage value. He had some really nice casts of the Searing Doom. Unfortunately, the Hound play didn't really work out too well for him, but the Searing Dooms on the Dark Shards, hats off to you, Mr. Sausage. Chaos Marauders across the board got relatively okay to solid damage value, overwhelming the Bleak Swords as well as the Dread Spears, and that was kind of the tail of the tape as well for the Chaos Warriors. Over 1,000 damage value on this unit, 986 on this final one, and unfortunately they just didn't have the mobility or the mass to pin in those chariots in the later stages of the game, because a lot of his own chariots who could have done that job were finished off in the early stages of the game, and likewise the Chaos Spawn lost huge numbers because of those Scourgerunner chariots. And yeah, neither of these chariots paying for themselves. The Chaos Spawn did pretty good though, 943 damage value, 830, a meager 284, but a rather impressive 2,116 damage value on the Regiment Renown, over 10k damage dealt and 116 kills. Go home and take a nap, lads. You did proud. You can go back to the realms of chaos, where I'm sure you will be reborn anew. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.